Oh, we started at 7 o'clock. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Seems as if I came at the right time.
Okay. We'll start off with a roll call. Who's here?
Okay, roll call. Supervisor Barlow.
Here.
Trustees Vandenagel.
Here.
Macredo.
Here.
Yeager.
Here.
Shaver.
Here.
All present.
Okay. What I'd like to do is make a motion to move 9.1 under old business up to the front here as the next item for discussion. It's a discussion with Clay, Illinois, who is a supplier of our playground equipment, and we've been talking about a piece of equipment in the lower park. I'll call it the lower park here in Township Park. So I'll make a motion that we move 9.1 to current. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Third it.
Fourth. Yeah.
All right, who's second?
John. And
You have to vote.
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. I'll preface this real quick. Colin's been generous to come in this evening and kind of go through his proposal. It was not in your packet this evening, but we are going to discuss it. We'll let him kind of walk through what he's found and what some proposals are for the future.
All right, I'll
If you
take
just
it away.
introduce yourself,
Yeah, of course.
that'd be great for the record.
Definitely. Well, I'm Colin Mclean. I am 22 years old. I won't deceive you, I am new to the space of parks and recreation.
Okay.
Right out of college, I've been working for Play, Illinois for about a year. Play, Illinois has been in business for around 40 years, supplying playground equipment to municipalities all around Illinois and the Chicagoland area. We represent Burke, which is based right up in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And they've been in operation, making the best of the best playgrounds for over 100 years now, we're proud to say. And this is a standard RFP proposal. Just wanted to share it with you, maybe get some firsthand feedback, and kind of start from here. So I guess that's my introduction. I'm new blood for the Parks and Rec space, and I want to be able to provide and kind of help different communities around Illinois replace or build new playgrounds for their communities. So that's my goal.
So part of the reason he has a proposal, when you were out and did your inspection, you looked around, the playground equipment that we have is no longer being built. And there are no service parts available to refurbish the platforms that we were looking at, and hopefully we could refurbish. So that's why he came with a proposal. I'll just throw, I'll go ahead and I'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah, of course. Well, I met here with Terry about a few months ago, I would say. I came down here from someone up from the factory, and we inspected the playground. At first I was under impression it may be a Burke playground, but after further review it turned out to be maybe a landscape structure.
Okay.
And the first kind of point of interest was to see what we could do for servicing the older playground and see if we could, replace or, help out with, fixing those platforms, railings, decks, everything like that. But for it not being Burke equipment, of course, for liability reasons, we can't, replace those objects and have no warranty.
I didn't know that.
Whose equipment is it? I thought that's the
don't
people
know.
we called.
I'm not real, I don't have that information with me, but
Okay.
I believe it was landscape. I saw the logo of below the slide, but we could always double check on
So you're
that.
saying
But
landscape structure?
that's my idea, yes. But I go around to tons of playgrounds, so I don't want to be confused.
So John, it sounds like they can't serve, so they're an exclusive.
Well, they're
dealer
not the
to-
original manufacturer of the
Yes.
playground equipment.
That and they
So
don't-
maybe
they
we
don't-
should contact the original
Yeah, that's on the
manufacturer of the
list.
Yeah,
equipment.
so they only represent Burke, they can't for
Correct, I
liability.
understand
Yeah.
that. I'm just trying to clarify that.
But also what he said was that what we have has been discontinued and there's no serviceable parts.
That
But
he
not by
knows.
Burke, but not the original manufacturer.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if it were a Burke playground, we have a lot of supplies and warranties that would guarantee replacements of those products. But coming down here and meeting with Terry and seeing the age of this playground, I thought it may be a great idea, and we opened up discussion on, discussing a proposal for replacement. And kind of that's what I'm here for today, just to give a first-hand view of what Burke has to
What's
offer.
your estimate of the age of the equipment that we currently have?
It's gonna
Do
be
we know
20
that?
years.
It's about 22 years old,
22 years old.
22. And Mike, can you share with them the condition that you found some of this stuff in?
Yes, of course. Well, there are missing climber components that wouldn't, up to date be ADA compliant. The platforms are rusting out. I mean, there's just so many, little issues that, for a long time, can really bring up some issues in the future.
You're saying it's not safe?
I'm not saying necessarily it's not safe. I did recommend that Terry and his crew close down the climbing area because one of those posts and
Correct.
rubber plastic components were chipped and missing and kind of loose. So we discussed to kind of close that down. The platforms should hold for now and have life. They're just rusting at the moment. And, with continual age, the whole playground may not be ADA compliant very soon. So that was our discussion and just kind of giving our foresight on that. And that's mainly why my colleague up from the factory up in Fond du Lac came down to review it as well. Just, be extra backup, of course, right?
So currently, and I don't want to impede you from getting through your proposal, but is there a requirement for townships to have a playground that is 100% compliant with ADA, or is there some sort of, well, I guess what's the regulation around that we're required to adhere to?
Well, I mean, of course, if you close down those sections, it wouldn't be an issue since, children won't be able to play on those components. But, I mean, a playground is substituted to be ADA compliant 100%, right? Safety is the utmost concern for any CPSI certified, agent coming out to look and see what your playground, has to hold right now. So I would love to come down here and see what it was. And, after giving our advice, we found out that it was probably okay, that it was okay to hold it open for the rest of the year.
Again,
but
you
then,
say it's safe to use.
yes. As it stands right now,
For this year.
With the exclusion of those sections that were closed?
yes, exactly. And of course, platforms, when they rust out, additional concerns may arise, such as, pieces of the rubber molding on the platform stripping up and possibly causing cutting or scraping to children. So there's a lot of different things that go into, whether or not a playground is deemed
Yeah,
safe.
most of that rubber's already missing.
Yes.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, and when it's rusting, of course, you can't stop those things, and that's why the discussion was open for kind of looking at any sort of rehabilitation options. And I would love to help out with that, and I think Burke may be a great candidate to work for in the future.
I have a question about ADA. Is that something that when a law was passed, it had to be upgraded at that time? Or if your existing equipment is perfectly fine until you buy new equipment, then it has to be ADA?
Well, the laws of ADA are constantly changing, right? I mean, I'm sure most of you could say that decades ago, playgrounds looked vastly different than they are today. And I remember playing on, your regular old, steel post seesaws, and nowadays, that's out of the question, right? At least the ones that go up 3 or 4 feet. And so, I mean, playground compliancy with ADA is ever changing, and just by the reviewing of the playground, I deemed it safe for excluding those closed off areas to be open for the rest of the year. As for purchasing new equipment, that's always a recommendation for a playground that's even 15, 20, 25 years old, right? And we see those all over the place. I mean, it's just a matter of kind of taking care of those things and making sure that we stay up to date on those codes.
So once you, even if you wanted to rebuild and put stuff in there, once you start to touch it, you have to make it ADA compliant along with that. That has to be in the figures, because when we did this bathroom up here, we wanted to replace just the doors because they were going bad. We had to make enough for a wheelchair to make it ADA compliant. So anytime we touch things, we have to take that into
So
consideration.
currently what we have is grandfathered in. You make any changes, you now need to ADA compliant.
Yes,
But have you
exactly.
not made changes?
Then
You
don't
put
have
the
to worry
plywood
about
up there to stop people from using it, so isn't it one of the changes that would make
No.
us?
No.
That's
If you're going to-
excluding already unsafe
Yeah.
components. So as for everything else, I mean, it's just a ticking time bomb at the point where,
I agree, I think we should
yes,
shut it down
exactly.
personally.
Yep,
But
yeah.
that's my opinion.
Definitely, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you start touching anything and you have to
I mean,
upgrade it.
in my
So,
vote, it's not safe, but.
go ahead.
Well, all right, great. I'll start on the proposal. So brought a nice little 3D board here. I'll stand up for a better view. This is the proposed new plan for Mchenry Township Park. I sent Terry and Gary a proposal and the 3Ds over email,
Yep.
so that could all be forwarded to all of you guys. This is a pretty unique structure that our design team made. It includes a 5 to 12 structure, which is inclusive, and also a 2 to 5 structure over here right next to the swings. We thought we wanted to bring a vibrant new look to the park, of course, as any modern playground would want to be, right? And we added some of our new BERT components as well, while also, kind of encompassing everything that there is to make a playground fulfilled and maximize the play value. This is a combination of engineered wood fiber, wood chips, and poured in place rubber. There's a poured in place rubber pad that comes up to the ramp structure for wheelchair access. Also poured in place rubber that's surrounding spinning components, which are closely kind of modeled together. So then there's easy transfers from children in wheelchairs to these components, while also disabling, a very common theme with spinning components, where wood chips get kicked up, wood chips may get lodged underneath of those spinning components. So it was just kind of the match made in heaven of making, this combination fit, while also putting it under the swings to minimize that kicking of the wood chips. I know a lot of people like to use rubber mats. That's also a substitute for underneath of swings.
So when you say poured in place, is
Yes.
there a form under there?
What's that?
Is there a form of some sort that
Yes.
forms is about, what's that made out of?
Well, the poured in place itself is kind of surrounded and embedded in the engineered wood fiber,
Okay.
and the edges of poured in place are kind of like leveled off, so it'll start at the bottom wider than it is on top to kind of keep everything solidified and in place. And also on the bottom, there is a layer of, I believe it's around 6 inches of gravel to
Okay.
keep everything held up and solidified in its portion.
So
The,
that whole surface is stable?
Yes,
It's
yep.
like a mat.
yeah.
Matting.
So the-
It's about 12 inches of poured in place rubber.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's how kind of tall it has to be for ADA compliancy, to get that, that bounciness and make sure that no children get hurt.
the tan, are those loose chips or not?
This is just straight up engineered wood fiber. So,
So are
just
they
wood
chips?
chips.
Wood chips, okay.
Yep, that are manufactured in-house.
Yep.
And so I'll start with the 5 to 12 structure just to kind of give you a little background of some components that we wanted to include here. Of course, you start at the ramp structure with some sensory rails. With Burke, we loved the idea of inclusivity and kind of focusing on every aspect of play. Whether it's physical or mental, we believe that touching each and every one of the senses on a child's development is important. So we like to include tactile touch and also different panels to sort of make it a lot more interactive and not just a physical experience, but almost like a mental learning experience as well. We love cognitive development, and so that's something that we love to kind of push into all of our designs, into the modern kick. The ramp structure comes in, and it's guarded by rails right here, surrounded by a variety of climbing components and overhead components off to the side. This is one of our new products this year. This is the Anova Rocker. And what's unique about this is a child in a wheelchair can come up and not have the need to use any leg strength to rock themselves, but there are handles on the side in which rock them in a safe but pretty thrilling movement. Children in wheelchairs, they don't get a lot of that movement, right? That side to side, you know, gives them a little bit of that adrenaline in the play experience. So that's what we love to include there. So that's the end here in a hex platform for the disabled child to turn around and go right back down to the surface. And this is my personal favorite. I love this component. It's our new nucleus core. It's a roped climbing structure. And what's unique about this is that it's not like your other playgrounds where it's just all steps up to the top, but it's a variety of different ways that you can get up to the top of that platform, right? It's basically, you know, putting together a towered platform and one of those spider web climbers that you see at different playgrounds and making it all in one. So that's really cool. It goes up to the top with different rubber platforms throughout and different ways to climb up to the top, up to a platform up here where you're met by 2 different slides that curve around each other. And the 2 to 5 structure has different panels, climbing components, and this contour slide as well, where smaller children can race down to the bottom. Swings here, you know, relatively basic stuff. Swings, it's been a cult classic forever, so but we don't like to, you know, change it up and keep it fun, right? So we have 2 belt swings right here, a tot swing, and a freedom swing right there for either disabled kids or just kids that need that little extra safety, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this playground. Unique standalone components kind of wrap around the outskirts, whether it's, you know, fun little play panels where children can move around different slots and shapes, or this panel over here, a drum panel and chimes. We like to include music. Play Illinois, we well, you know, kind of thrive on our play ensemble division as well, where it's different musical instruments and structures too. A lot of people like to keep those away from neighborhoods just because if you know kids, they'll keep doing that forever. So yeah, so this is just a grand overall view here, and yeah, I hope that, you know, you guys like it, and of course we could always scale back or change some things. You know, I brought catalogs for different components if you may view them, and whether it's pricing issues or anything like that, we could always change it up when work on it from here. This is only the start.
So I just have one question regarding ADA again.
Yep.
If you didn't put that ramp piece of equipment on there and all you did was put the nucleus and the slides on there,
Yes.
is that a legal piece of equipment in a park or not?
No, the core itself, or are you talking about just leaving this
Correct.
portion?
Yeah.
The core itself is ADA compliant. It's just a simple spider web tower component reaching up to the platform here. This is only to kind of introduce, you know, the platform to the rest of the playground while also including these other intensity climbing components.
So this is
too.
a modular system.
Yes,
You can pick and choose.
exactly, right.
Yeah.
So it's all you know, interchangeable
Yeah.
too, right? So yes, very customizable.
What you've got designed there, will that fit in the area we already have?
Yeah, this was actually taken from a bird's eye view. We like to use satellite images to kind of get the area, updated satellite imagery to kind of fit everything in place.
So that's exactly how it would look.
This is exactly the size, and everything fitting into this play area is exactly to fit.
Does Burke have any playground equipment in the area that we can go look at?
Well, in Round Lake, I'm actually currently working on a playground right now at Ellis Park. I'm working with Ann Oliveras, the superintendent over there. She's been, you know, giving a lot of really great feedback, and we're hoping to get that project installed next summer. In terms of anything around here, I know Libertyville and Gurnee, we work with them pretty heavily.
Can you forward Gary a list of?
Yeah, of course. I can give you guys many examples. In Libertyville, we recently did one, I think back in 2020. It was pretty much, it's my favorite playground I've ever seen. It's a big 2 to 12 structure that has a castle theme, and of course you could, you know, add as many themes as you want, and it's attached to a school, and kids actually come out of their lunch period right off to the playground on a second story and get right onto the playground 16 feet up in the sky. It's amazing. So I'll forward Terry and Gary some examples, and they could, in different locations, so if you guys wanted to drive out to them or anything like that
When this
recently.
equipment was installed, I did that.
Yeah.
We drove around in different areas.
Amazing.
That's how we chose that company.
Yes,
You
yes.
could tell looking at it, it was built, the product's not built good, I'm just
Of course,
I
you
like
want to
the
be able to
starting
see those
point,
different
Right,
examples,
right.
yeah.
I really like the starting point.
Oh, yeah.
I wanna see the two-story one.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely, that's the first one I'm going to put on the list. That's a great one.
May I be recognized?
Sure.
I have one question.
Yes,
Is
of
that
course.
grandparents' proof?
Oh yeah, it's grandparents proof, you know.
My great.
I don't know about the roped climbers here, but
Yeah,
if
so when I
they're
was
still
great-
running
My
marathons.
great granddaughter took me to a park like that, and she made me go on every one of them, and I'm still sore.
Well, hey, you know, it plays for everyone, we like to say, right?
I like that it plays for
131,000.
everybody, you know, autistic, the.
Yeah,
Really?
of course.
Those with physical disabilities or, you know, restrictions.
I'll full
I
copy
seen
package.
something actually in one of their catalogs there that was themed around the park.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had tree, I mean, you have the,
The
Yeah.
tree like in the middle of
you have
the.
the different things.
That would
but-
be
That
cool.
particular one, yeah.
Would it be
is
a good thing for
131,000.
down here,
Huh?
being
Use
a park
all.
like that? But also,
I
I
think
don't
that's
see,
cheap.
what are your feelings on like a
I do.
sunscreen or screen?
Oh
shade?
yeah, well we do offer shades as well, and what's cool about the Nucleus Core is it pretty much sets up for a perfect shade modular component. You know, these different, 7 posts right here, a shade could be attached to each and every one of the tips of the posts, and they're pretty wide and outstretching as well. So,
So you're
if-
not always exposed to the UV.
yes, exactly. Of course, there are so many different situations to where a park may be situated in between trees, big tall oaks, so shading won't be an issue there. But if this is a wide open area, like how we saw, I know there's smaller trees down there, but I mean, it's always an option to add shading, and that's something that we can include in different designs too.
So if I remember the quote correctly, the all-in price is 131,000.
Yes,
And
that's
that
an-
includes the mats, the fibers, the whole deal, not just the equipment.
Exactly, yes. The equipment sits at around 77,000 after we discounted it from 100,000. And installation is always about 40% of the equipment cost. And then we included, like I said, installation, shipping, surfacing as well.
Does that include removal of the old equipment? Or is that already
It doesn't at this point, but I could always get a quote from my installation team, and we could get that back to you as soon as
What are the
possible.
chances of getting grants?
So that ground stuff, it never has to be replaced. It's,
Oh, the engineered wood fiber?
yeah.
For the old playground, it depends, honestly. I mean, of course, you're gonna have to dig up portions of it for footings and
No,
whatnot.
no, I'm talking about
Grants
this
and
one.
grants.
I mean, the ground that you have on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, with engineered wood fiber, every 3 to 5 years, maybe even 2 to 3 years, you're gonna have to top it off a little bit.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, very low maintenance other than what you're used to this day.
And what kind of warranty does it come with again?
Yeah, I was
missed
actually,
that.
in that same vein, like, how does Play Illinois then, like, service it, take care of it after the fact, and then if there's any changes to the ADA laws, are we somehow covered for those things to be updated for a certain period of time, or how does, like, the after install service work?
Yes, of course. With ADA, this will be grandfathered in with any new laws. Of course, with warranties, we offer generations warranties for all of our products. We even have storage storage of products that were made 20, 30 years ago, just in case that there's any issues that arise with older playgrounds. We have 100-year warranties on any platforms or posts or railings, and 20 and 15-year warranties on slides, HDPE and rubber and anything that is kind of dictated off to the sides.
You mentioned timeframes on the warranty, so does that add additional cost then to the base bid? Like, we want to do a 20-year warranty, that's going to be.
No.
X number, or
Warranties
just-
are all standard for,
Okay.
and I could send Gary and Terry a full breakdown of our warranties. It's all on our
It
website.
just sounds like different components are warranted
Yes,
for
different,
different lengths of time.
at the base
Just
level.
wanted that
Yes,
clarification.
Yeah.
Yep. And I heard you whispering about grants
I
and,
did.
and co-ops or anything like that. Burke does work with a select variety of co-ops. So if this is something where you don't want to go out for a bid war, we could definitely take care of that. We work with a select number of different co-op vendors, Sourcewell, Omnia. We actually just started working with one, Government Spend, and they're a newer co-op that's in the area, and they're trying to expand nationally. What's cool about them is they only, most co-ops will take a 3% flat rate on the service for going to them for the bidding, and government spend only does 1%. So they really just want to be out there and help. And it's fairly new to me, this newer co-op, but I can get more information about all that.
Please.
Yeah, if you send it.
And of course, there are local government grants as well. I mean, you have OSLAD and also any other, grants that may come in from the government. I know there was recently a grant. It may be over now, and I know every year they like to do a grant that focuses more on borderline communities. So it likes to bring more, the state would love to bring more traction into the state, and so they want to give out money to help provide for new playgrounds that are within 30 miles of the border. I know it's all application
Is it
and
actually
review,
playgrounds, or is it an attraction to bring tourism?
It mostly falls under attraction, but playgrounds and parks and rec, they started focusing in on that, which is very nice. I think within the last couple of years, they started focusing on
You can definitely
playgrounds.
send that information to them where they can share it.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, of course, definitely. So yeah, any other feedback or any questions that I can answer?
I have one more.
Yeah, of course. And of course,
I
this
don't
is
see
all
this
yours.
happening within 2 months. So are you saying the playground equipment out there is gonna last the whole next summer as well?
I can't say that for sure. I mean, I saw it a few months ago. That would have to take more review, and I'd have to for an even closer review, I could bring out a CPSI certified trained person to actually look on that and make 100% certainty that that
Because I don't see this happening until maybe the end of next summer, at the earliest.
Yeah.
If it even happens then.
I could always bring in my colleague early next year when the season opens up to kind of double check on those things. Of course, next year and years to come, pricing always goes up with equipment. So whatever the quoting is on equipment here, expect that to go up maybe 10% next year.
For this base model that you have, what would your installation time frame be? Like, how long do you think it would take?
Great. Well, depending on the time of the year, of course, right? Summer is always the biggest and busiest or time of the year. So with a project like this, and it also depends on size too, a project like this, I would say a couple of weeks when it a couple of weeks after it arrives on site. So time frame for Burke to get the equipment to you is depending also on what time of year. I know into the summer this year we were at about 9 to 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, which isn't too bad. Our max this year was maybe 12 weeks, 12 to 14, which is not to brag, but far better than any other manufacturer since we are literally, right up the road.
So in theory, we figure it out, and then within 6 months it'll be done.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So yeah, it just depends on the time frame that you guys are working with, and we adapt to you, right? Whatever your needs are and your vision, I'm happy to make that happen. So just I would love to keep in communication and to discuss further on this project.
Absolutely. I appreciate the follow-up items that we've discussed. We'll definitely keep in touch. It's, as Trustee McCready said, is that not going to happen, and the decision's not going to be made in the next 3 months.
Oh, of course.
So
Yeah,
we're just moving into our cycle right now.
Yep.
So we won't have any decisions until after those decisions are made. So.
Definitely.
But
course.
a good time to start the conversation.
Of course. Never a great time to start the conversation.
To kickstart it. So
Yep.
we appreciate you taking time out of your evening.
Definitely.
I think there's a football game on.
Oh yeah, the Bears. My roommate's there right now. I'll have to go and spot him on TV. Oh yeah, that's something that we just. That's something we did. You ousted me, Terry. We said that we keep this a secret. So yeah, exactly. Hey, we lost in London last week, so. Well, hey, you guys are
thank you very
free to
much.
keep
I
the
appreciate
forts.
it.
This is all you. So
Great.
I'll
Thank
leave
you.
this over here for safekeeping, okay?
You got it, thank you.
Spread it around. Spread the word.
We will.
Burke's in town. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate the time.
Do you have a card?
Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Here, let me give you each a card actually. This is. Here we go. Just in case anyone has any questions and wants direct contact, I'm always available. I know being a 22-year-old, you may not think I'll get back on time because I'm out partying, but I'm not.
Thank you.
Yeah. proceed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate the
Thank
time.
you.
Have a great rest of your night.
You too.
And thank you, Terry, for setting this
Thanks
up.
for coming out.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
No, I think.
Well, I think we should reach out to those people that made that equipment. Yeah.
Exactly, that's
I
the
think that's where
note.
we need to start.
Yeah, and probably try to find one more. There's some recent park equipment that was installed in the village of Johnsburg. I'll find out who they used.
Yeah, Mchenry just did that splash park too. so
Yeah, they did.
Who
Just
was
finished
that?
that.
You know?
Yeah, we did some stuff at the Board of Ed also,
Oh, did you?
yes.
I mean, I didn't think the price was bad. I mean, I didn't think it was too
Not
much.
for all that.
I didn't think it was 100, I thought it was worth more than that. And I think last time we paid $70-some thousand for that equipment out there.
Yeah, the labor's a
If I'm not
substantial
mistaken.
cost.
That was 20 years ago though.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
That's what it was, yeah.
$113,000 for all that,
I
that's not
think it
bad.
was bad.
That's what Colin was referring to was the bid process. You know, he's in here and he's given us an idea of, an estimate of what it would cost. Yes, this project based on the dollars would have to go out to bid.
Yes.
Yeah, so whenever it is decided, and whoever, something like this would be cool to be placed at the current playground, watch us grow.
Sure.
You know, because that playground is used a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
And for safety wise, before the COVID thing, Torma used to come out every other year and inspect all of our playground equipment. So it's been a couple of years, but I could have them come out
Troubleshoot.
and just do a quick run through all our playground equipment, just to make sure we're on the up and up. Because if there's something I'm missing down there and it's unsafe, then
Right.
I wanna know.
Right.
Gary, last time we put this equipment in, we didn't put it off the bid. The park advisory, there was 5 of us, and we went around to different parks in the area. I forget if it was around the parks back then, I can't think of his name now. Because he wanted another vendor, but we went out and we went to see that equipment, and that's the equipment we suggested, and that's the equipment they bought.
20 years ago, I don't know
Yeah,
what
but
the
I
laws
think-
were.
Yeah, I don't know, I was 20
Now
years
it
ago.
has to
So
be
what
out
is-
because of the cost.
So Gary, what's the amount that triggers or
20,000.
threshold that triggers a bid need?
20,000.
20.
But it's different equipment, you know, you're not
Correct. But
you're
you're
not
not gonna,
comparing apples to apples necessarily.
So even, okay, so
Yeah.
hypothetically, if you guys went to the existing manufacturer and they said it's gonna be $25,000 to fix your stuff, that even would have to go out to bid.
Correct.
But yes or no, but who else is gonna be that? It's not their
No,
equipment.
that's a service.
But you
Yeah,
said.
that's a
put it-
service.
That's like, if you have a
No.
truck that breaks down
Yeah.
and needs 25,000, that does not have to go
Okay.
to bid.
No.
If you bought a new piece of equipment, that does.
Makes sense.
Used equipment, you don't.
And even if only
Like a
one
used
person
tractor.
bids it, you put it out for bid,
Yeah.
and that's fine, only one
They have to
person
have an
bid.
opportunity to bid on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
You
And
have
the
to
way,
present
and the
that.
workaround with that is you spec out exactly, I want this slide made of this material, this many inches long, this many inches wide.
It's not really gonna
and
happen.
The other vendors can't match it.
And that's what he said.
That's the way
Right,
you
he's saying,
get your.
yeah, make it so that they're the only one that could.
Well, that's
realistically
like, that's
fit
the
the
so
bid.
we ended up doing it, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yes, 20,000 is the,
But my concern is the safety of the equipment out there.
Yeah.
I don't personally don't think it's safe, but,
so.
I would-
we
no, I
have
would
to
agree.
check
If there's
together
exposed
if
rust-
it's safe.
yeah, I'm not a
Well,
fan
I know
of
it's
it.
safe to the end of this year if there's anything that was missed, because this isn't gonna get done for next season either.
Yeah, So we need to know safety.
And then, you know, the
And
trustees
if
are not
it
gonna look at the
becomes
equipment.
worse, we just check.
I know, Adam, you said you went to look at the
We
equipment,
just
right?
unfortunately,
Did you go out there and look at
unsafe.
it?
Yeah, it's not. I
Once we
wouldn't-
know it.
I wouldn't
approve it
approve
in
it.
We have, I know,
yeah.
but it's better to know now than to find out after somebody
Absolutely,
gets
I don't want
hurt.
anybody to get hurt.
No,
Mark, did you look at that equipment?
No,
Did you look at that equipment?
I've seen pictures.
So
I think we
I
should
would
vote on
have-
this is a limit thing.
I think we need to have a professional come out and inspect it, and that's why I'd asked for Torma to come out and inspect it. And then we can also lean on Colin's CPISI review if there's a licensed person who's certified to deem whether it's safe or not. I
I'm
would
not
like to hear their
professional.
opinion before I close anything. Granted, I realize we're going in the winter, it's not gonna get used that much.
Right.
So we could probably have an inspection over the winter. It's not gonna kill the person to wear a jacket to look at the equipment.
But it's pretty busy even through the winter.
Is it?
especially when the sled hill opens up.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, really?
kids still wanna play on the stuff.
So I guess what I would recommend then is get Torma out here if we can, if they will. If not, we'll call Colin back and we'll use up his representative, or we'll have to find somebody that can inspect it.
But on the other hand, like I said, with Torma, they have a professional guy that comes out and inspects and tells you, they'll even go down to the.
They're the
little screws.
insurers, they're our insurer.
Yeah, and they're little nuts, anything that's sharp, he'll tell you what to fix, he gives you a whole list.
Punch list.
And in our case, that being our insurer, I'd rather have somebody like that that says
Yeah.
you're safe.
It's how
Our
expensive
insurance
is
guy
it
told
for
us
that to do?
Correct.
So we can do that way too.
Will they charge us a fee since they're our insurer?
They don't charge you for it, it's just finding the
Okay.
time to do it is, for their.
I'd imagine they wouldn't want us to be sued because then they would have to pay out, so
Correct.
it's of their benefit to,
Exactly.
yeah,
I would agree.
And they're straight shooters.
yeah.
So more to come.
Yep.
Can we put an orange fence around that till Torma comes out?
What?
Not the whole thing.
John's gonna sit out there and, just playground monitor.
Some
Yeah.
kid's gonna get hurt out there, and that's what I feel bad about.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my kids out there.
I wouldn't put my
Like
kid on
lunchtime
there.
monitor.
We got a camera down there, so if anybody's there, we had people do some damage, but we can see them with our camera, so we've saved a lot of money by finding out who they are too, but.
Okay,
Alright.
back to the top. We've got 2.0, public comment.
Thanks, Terry.
No public comment this evening. Approval of meeting minutes. Need a motion for approval of meeting minutes. Motion and discussion, I guess. And possible action.
I'll make a motion
Second.
to approve the Mchenry Township regular board meeting minutes of September 8th, 2022.
Yeah. Any changes?
Any changes? No.
Okay. All those in favor of the meeting minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay? No nays. Okay, 4.0. Motion for approval of receipts and bills for the town fund.
I'll make a motion to approve,
That's Adam,
yeah, I have it.
okay? You have you need to read that.
The town, I thought someone has to second it first.
What?
Yeah, Adam's made the motion, he needs a second.
Second.
All right, we, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 13th day of October 2022 examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached, and hereby authorize payments of same. Total reimbursements to be approved, $0. Total bills to be approved, $16,540.76. Total bills paid prior to audit, $31,535.92. Total to be approved, $48,076.68. Total receipts, $14,182.77. I make a motion for that to be approved.
Okay, roll call?
Okay, voice vote. Supervisor Barla,
Yes.
trustees Bendenego,
Yes.
Macredo,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Shaver,
Yes.
all ayes, motion carries.
Five point oh, motion for receipts and bills of the general road and bridge fund.
We, the undersigned members of the McHenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have on this 13th day of October 2022 examined and audited amounts due for the specified items in the claims attached and hereby authorize payment of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, $0. Total bills to be approved, $52,606.96. Total bills paid prior to audit, $12,685.52. Total to be approved, $65,292.48. Total receipts, $6,634.93. Make a motion that we approve this?
I'll second it.
Voice vote, Supervisor Varela,
Yes.
trustees Bendigo,
Yes.
McCredo,
Yes.
Jaeger,
Yes.
Shaver,
Yes.
all ayes, motion carries.
6.0 is motion for approval of receipts and bills for the permanent hard road.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 13th day of October 2022 examined and audited amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payment of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, none. Total bills to be approved, $92,814.80. Total bills paid prior to audit, $503,390.79. Total to be approved, $596,205.59. Total receipts, $1,280.63.
I'll second.
I'll make the motion to approve the receipts and bills for permanent high road.
Second.
Voice vote, Supervisor Varela,
Yes.
trustees Bendigo,
Yes.
McCredo,
Yes.
Jaeger,
Yes.
Shaver,
Yes.
all ayes, motion carries.
Okay, 7.0 is fund transfers. There is none this evening. 8.0 is new business. Item 8.1 is a discussion on the ADA access to the football fields. The reason that's on the agenda is that a couple weekends ago, that it was brought to our attention that someone was here who was obviously handicapped, and that they couldn't get down to the football field to see their grandchild play football. So we've had a conversation with Mchenry Junior Warriors, and all of their coaches should have been aware of. There's the access to a golf cart that they can use to bring somebody out onto the field. So, so as long as the request is brought to somebody with Junior Warriors, they could accommodate that person and bring them out to the field.
Should we put a sign out there saying that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would think that, because some people don't want to say, I need
Right.
help, and then they just want to
Right.
complain.
There should be something more
Some kind
visible.
of signage.
Yeah,
Well, he also mentioned, you can do it at Arlington Heights. I'm sure it was an away team, and at Arlington Heights, their
Right.
football stadium it's not a park. It's,
Right.
So, I says, you can only do as much as you can, but I says, you need to really, there's a golf cart available for those who,
Is that our golf cart?
huh?
Is that our golf cart?
No, it's football.
What teams? Okay, let's ask it.
And Scott Morton said they normally always do it, and Dan does it back and forth all the time. And just he says, I don't know how we missed it, but he'll put a note out to all the coaches and all the teams that are coming in that is available. So we should be okay with it.
I think we should put a sign up for if you have special needs,
Right.
please contact type.
Right.
Who do they contact?
Junior Warriors, whatever general number they have.
You got soccer fields out there, you got different teams. Is it a generic sign that says contact the host organization?
Yes.
Probably.
Because it would be their responsibility
Right.
to make sure it's
Right.
communicated to the teams and, or the parents or whomever's coming, the guests.
So if the host organization doesn't have access to a golf cart, soccer team, somebody needs ADA, we'll allow them to drive their car out there?
Down to baseball fields, we allow them to drive their car down the service road and then try to get on from that point.
Yeah.
But otherwise, coaches and teams are not allowed to park down there, but for that kind of stuff.
I guess sending a letter out to all the team leaders is a good place to start.
Yeah. But the only problem is, like Gary said, is soccer. we don't have any access other than cut across to go over there.
So
Or find a good Samaritan with a golf cart.
yeah, if you go through the Sled Hill building or next to the Sled Hill building, between the two of them, there's a concrete and it ends. So if you were to put concrete out to the edge of the field and all the way down, that's the quickest way to get to both fields. What happens, I don't understand it from the standpoint of, okay, you have access to the field now, but if you want to go up and down the sidelines, you have to be able to use grass. You can't pour concrete all the way around the field. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, I'm just trying to look at it from an economic standpoint. And I think that Terry's done a good job in dealing with the junior warriors. If you just email the baseball teams as a reminder and the soccer teams as a reminder that we've had a recent incident and that we'll use reasonable judgment in accommodating any ADA requests, please.
It's the first time I've heard that happen
Yeah.
in
Yeah, won't be
12
last.
years I've been here, so.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you can go to any
Percent.
school and they're not all ADA
Oh, I
accessible.
get it.
Correct. And let's be realistic, I mean, it is a soccer field, you're coming to be, are you expecting it to be a concrete field?
Okay, moving on, if there's no more discussion regarding that. Okay, old business, 9.2, we handled 9.1 with Colin and Clay, Illinois regarding the park equipment. 9.2 was the second reading, and possible action on the second reading. I'll make a motion for discussion and possible action on the township park ordinance.
Second.
Okay. You all received a copy in the packet. Any questions regarding it? I know the 2 points that were brought up last time, well, 3 points I believe there were, was one, the hours of the park was changed from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then also there was the one regarding children, the word children. The legal definition of a child is 0 to 17, and it's best that we leave it with the word children in there to cover us. Putting a specific age, you know, what an individual parent does with their 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old is up to them. But I believe that we should leave the word child in there after a short conversation with our attorney also. And what was the third thing? I think that was about, oh, the fees were changed from $25 to $50. Got any money?
As a matter of fact.
We'll put it into the discussion for the next budget, absolutely. Actually, you know, you show me that picture.
Pass it down, I'm looking.
Yeah, we show me that picture. We should probably put one by the gardens.
Probably.
We should use their money to do it.
Exactly.
Fertilizer.
Thanks.
But I hear you. So that's what's going on. I guess if you guys were okay with the way it read, I've not done this before, but I guess I would ask for approval of the submitted ordinance. The township clerk will assign an ordinance number and remove the old one and replace the new one.
Today's date and the letter.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the new park ordinance.
A second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Looks like we have a new park ordinance. I will work with the clerk on that.
Just give a price.
Huh.
Yeah.
Go
That's why we
figure.
sent it down to you, Mark.
I know.
Okay. Any proposed agenda items for the next meeting? Section 10. Hearing none, I mean, there's obviously some follow-up stuff that I've got to do, but, based on our earlier conversation with the park gentleman. But that's not ready for the agenda. Okay, if there's nothing, the supervisor's report, any questions on the report that was in the packet? Okay, hearing none. I'll just comment real quickly though. The GA numbers were not updated in that package. We are currently have an employee who's on medical leave, and we are farming out some of the GA work. So those numbers will be coming in and be updated for the next month. So we'll have all of that information. But what I can tell you is the requests for assistance are going through the roof.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, it's phenomenal how it's just taken off. Probably not the right spot to say this, but we've gotten a request from a local food pantry within the township boundaries, another one, asking for assistance because their food is running on low. So take a look and see what we can, if or we can or can't do anything to help them out at this point in time. But
It's gonna get worse.
yeah. Senior bus report. I think we are all familiar with the Northwestern Hospital shuttered their bus service. We have had an increase in the bus service numbers here. We're at a breaking point with our bus service to where we have barely enough drivers to cover the 3 buses, and they're running ragged. We've got park folks that are subbing and running a couple of bus runs to get things going sometimes. So it's all hands on deck. I don't know if you are aware, but in the past, routing, there was some routing software that was used to help with routing some buses. It's all manual today. That cost was removed when the budget was cut. So something we need to look at for the future is potential routing software as we move through the budget cycle, not only the budget
I
cycle.
thought Pace was dispatching the buses.
No, we dispatch our own
I
buses.
thought Pace took that over.
Yeah, there was a fee.
Oh, okay.
There was a $7,600 fee.
Okay.
Is that per year?
Yeah, that was per year.
What's the cost of the software though that would do the routing?
We don't have all that information in. We just have one idea. But there's a couple options. You can either rent it, or you can lease it, or you can own it. And what you need to do is, I need to do is investigate what's the best position for the township. There's only been one investigation, and I will applaud the employee that took it on by themselves to go out and look at that because they saw a weakness. So
Yeah, I mean, if spending the money on the routing through Pace or the software would help alleviate some of the backlog of what it sounds like are needs for rides, that could help. But is there any other plan in place for getting more drivers or optimizing the route in any other way, or are we gonna have to turn people away?
we're working on it. We're working on all of those things on all the front. I don't want to turn anybody away either. That's not my goal. Actually, my plans for next year, probably not the right time, but I'll tell you that the bus service is the flagship of our township. It's really the most visible thing we have. And it's the most, it's very high on the list of being needed along with the other things that we do with aid assistance. So transportation in McHenry County sucks, period, end of sentence. Now's the time. We were awarded a $20,000 grant from the county to assist with paying the salaries of the bus program for next year. So we'll be looking at adding potential bus drivers. It can't be used for software. So we'll just continue to evaluate, and I have to give it to the team. We've got bus drivers that come in and sit on the phone and take reservations for folks in between. They volunteered all day, or not volunteered all day, obviously they came in and and helped us out. So we've got a great team in the bus service group, and we need to keep them together, so.
When's the Northeastern Illinois grant?
It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. I got to, I have not seen anything come through on the radar yet. I'll check into that, because we want to see
Yeah,
how
it's
that's
We don't
gonna be
miss that
before
one.
the end of the year.
Yeah, right,
Northeastern Illinois on Aging, right?
yeah, right.
I wanna say we filed early December last year.
It was March.
Oh, but did we have all the paperwork together?
I think we did. When?
Now, are we running the service on Saturdays now too?
Nope.
Sure about that?
If we are, it was something that I was unaware of if we ran a bus on Saturday.
That's where I saw one on Saturday, that's why I'm asking.
A
the
gray one or a white one?
It was Mchenry Township bus.
On what day?
On a Saturday?
No.
Okay,
You've probably seen Fox Lake, because they do come over to Walmart.
yeah, right, no, this was right, some lady gets dropped off right across the street from my place every freaking day for work or whatever she's
Oh,
doing.
yeah, but there's also some county buses that have
Yeah.
the same grade too. That's
Okay,
probably
could be.
because I've seen them parked in the driveway on
Okay.
the weekend. I'm sorry.
It could be, I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
So the other thing that, what Adam was talking about is, we're also looking at the concept of approaching the senior homes. We're noticing a trend where we're taking 3 or 4 people from the same location at different times during the day to Walmart, Meijer, or one of those places.
Consolidate it.
What we want to try to do is possibly put a consistent day and see if we can't get them all to ride together.
That makes sense, man.
So,
You could even get adoption from the places they're going.
Yeah.
And this would be something like, that would actually even further differentiate us, but you can get the stores to agree even to let them in early before normal operating hours, like maybe the first hour of the day is dedicated to that group of people, so that you can say, not only are we gonna get you all there, but you're gonna have like exclusive run of the store
I
for,
think they did that during COVID,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they did.
yeah.
My other question, do we own the buses outright, or do we lease the buses?
just lease the buses from Pace.
This is not my area of expertise, but would larger buses help alleviate some of the burden by getting more people on the bus, or is it just an
No.
issue that
No.
we're just routing very poorly, so we're
Right.
going back and forth too often?
It's the custom individual express service that we offer that, we could clean up with our route. That's probably, I mean, we are a specialty or a niche organization within the
Yeah.
township in providing a ride, so, I'm not gonna say, there's some folks that, I gotta be careful, they're not abusing it, but they, pretty demanding. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, plus, now that we're doing all the routing, we're taking all the calls too.
Now, where did we stop?
It used to be
What did we stop-
McHenry Pace used to take all
start
the calls.
dispatching
Now
ourselves?
we-
Yeah,
It was before we became board.
During
Yeah.
COVID, it wasn't so bad,
right.
because we didn't have a lot, but now that we're starting to pick up, our phones are just getting, tied up with people calling in, so.
A good thing.
Well, and actually, I mean, if it's $7,600 a year to pay for Pace to route it, like, we could be spending more than that on our own people, spending their time doing it, than what the $7,600 cost would be.
One of the things that we found, one of the things that I've heard, I didn't experience it myself, that we spent a lot of time adjusting the pace schedule to make it work. So
Gotcha.
you weren't fully invested in using it the way it was meant to be used, so.
It wasn't-
There's gotta be other software out there that. can do
Exactly,
this.
and it's kind of, I mean, obviously, we'll go back, I think we as, we need to investigate Pace's dispatching and what that's gonna cost again.
Yeah, and people just hated calling Pace.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the problem, because they weren't very, they-
Yeah, but it seems like everyone's trying to reduce their costs. You know, like Gary mentioned, Northwestern's want to rent their buses. So it's like,
I think
how much can we, look, I'm all for the buses.
well,
I think there's more research needed to figure out
Right.
what software's out there, what's available, and do we need to use Pace, or can we do it ourselves?
Yeah.
I think that it's just too open-ended right now to,
You're gonna pay a dispatcher a lot more, $7,600 a year.
Oh, we have ideas.
Right.
Carrying on.
Okay, I think you guys have worn me out as the supervisor report. The assessor's report, you saw that was in your mailbox. Any questions on the assessor's report? Highway Commissioner's report. Executive session, there's none needed. Any board comments? Trustee Shaver.
Yeah, I mean, I guess regarding the assessor's report, I'd be happy to take that data and just come back with like what a number could look like to be comparable with other townships, not specific to any assessor specifically.
Yeah.
By the next meeting or earlier, I can send it to you, Gary. But
Yeah.
if the issue is that ultimately to attract talent would require more capital, it should be commensurate with the experience that's required and should be comparable to what our counterparts pay.
Certainly.
Unless anybody disagrees.
There's
We just gave her 2 people.
two people quit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about
You
just the
got,
assessors. The assessors.
Yeah,
will
okay,
do
yeah,
it.
the report,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's a separate
Yeah.
piece, but it would be beneficial information going into budget season.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what was your
I ain't
comment?
He
saying
had
nothing.
nothing to say.
Yeah, saying nothing.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes at 8:01.
They're probably losing.
Barry, I like that park there. That's very nice.
Hanging up on my.
Well, it's a start. I mean, all we can do is start.